Good afternoon, everybody. This is a stock market recap for Monday, February 24th. Obviously, we are still selling off and we still have elevated volume here. It is decreasing, so most likely scenario, I'm still thinking that we see a higher low than 590.49. We are still in a weekly uptrend. We are just heading back down to our previous support. So at this time, I'm still inclined, the most likely scenario would be to see a higher low. But if we start seeing elevated volume or bad news or something of that sort, obviously that will put us at more of a risk of losing that level. And I mean, also they could just lose it by a couple pennies or something, and then push us up again. Fake people out. We are hourly oversold. We're approaching 4-hour oversold, which, in my view, a 4-hour oversold coming from an all-time high is generally a buy. That is where weekly higher lows are set. So I am interested in the S&P itself, and there's a few other names I'm interested in for bounce plays. This is strictly a bounce, like get in and get profit and have your profits run. Yeah, that is my kind of view at this time until we can start changing some medium time frames to bullish. This is the way I have to view things. So once we do bottom out here, we are looking for a lower high than the all-time high. That is the most likely scenario. Whenever this bottoms out and we start the bounce, and we would just be looking at a bear flag in the beginning, a daily bear flag, and we'll see what kind of retracement we get on the move up. We want to see at least 0.5 or the golden pocket to give us a little bit more conviction that we would see a higher low on the way back down. So that's the S&P 500. The S&P futures. So the NASDAQ is the weakest right now, and that is because semiconductors are the weakest right now. They are the biggest red days, and overall just tech is just heavier, and it's possible that we could just be getting tired and money is going to rotate into other sectors for the foreseeable future. So we have to be ready for any outcome. This is obviously a very bearish candle on tech and semis, just to end the day, and that's still elevated volume. So tech is looking for its weekly higher low as well. Got a bit of room to play with, but yeah, we're right here. Obviously, this level is the most important though, right underneath it. So yeah, that's what we're looking at, as we need to see this volume start dropping off and give us more conviction that this will hold as well. But that is the most likely scenario at this time, is that we just get choppy in this area unless something else comes along and we have to assess. The Russell, right down at its monthly high, we're basically have a big head and shoulders here, and we could be breaking right now. So caution on the Russell. It is set up very much like a head and shoulders. We are at risk of dropping down, and especially this is where the names that don't have proof of earnings. They're still speculative companies. They're not fully established companies. This is where those companies see the biggest hits. And in particular, I know the quantum computing names, things like that are speculative companies. We don't know what their earnings are going to be. Those are the ones that are going to see the biggest hits. So caution on those type of names right now. We are at risk. The Dow, we have a double bottom here, currently a tweezer bottom, right close to the 0.5. We need to see this bounce on the day, and then we can keep this cup and handle alive. I would call this a hold if we can start bouncing tomorrow on the Dow. But yeah, right now we are at risk of losing this cup and handle pattern, which the Dow has been ready for a primed for a move for a while now, so that would not be good to see. Semis, we're still in this equilibrium. Obviously, we've got elevated volume and we're heading down to the low. We didn't get this gap fill, so that's not ideal. And yeah, heading towards the 200 moving average and this 235.12 support right there. And the most important hold, though, is 232.24. So, Amazon. We got still elevated volume closing at the low. We are looking at this gap fill territory and the 0.382 of this entire move, which on the monthly, we are starting our monthly consolidation. We're just about to come to, and that's to keep a monthly bull flag alive, is to stay above keep 207.79 is our bull flag zone. Otherwise, we might be coming back down to test our previous all-time high. That's a possibility too, or the monthly 12 moving average. So we're quickly approaching these levels. With a candle like this, you would expect a gap down potentially tomorrow. It could be a gap down for buying because that's the first daily oversold since all-time highs. So Amazon is on my watch for a potential gap down or flush tomorrow morning. So that's on my top watch. Meta we're at 4 hour oversold. A gap down on Meta. I would be interested in a 4 hour oversold that could come from like 650 all the way down to the 637 level. Definitely interested in that. We've got the 50 moving average underneath. Generally that has been guiding us up as well, right? So that is coming up quickly tomorrow. I'm definitely interested on Meta as well. The Magnificent Seven are generally pretty good. Healthcare we've got this inverse head and shoulders. Obviously this head broke. I still consider this an inverse head and shoulders even if it does break, because if it does break, that means the most likely scenario is we do see a weekly higher low on the way back down. So now we've set that and we're heading back up to these highs. We've got this double top here, and that is kind of what's holding up the S&P right now, is healthcare and finance. So finance is still trying to find a daily higher low at this point. We've got a double bottom here. We've got the 12 moving average kind of being resistance right now, but this inside bar, hopefully, it's elevated volume as well. So we do have the 50 moving average and another support right by us. And yeah, hopefully that holds, and that will hopefully bring up the rest of the market. IBM, still just looking for its daily higher low. We've got the 12 moving average. This is where you want to see hourly oversold, mark the higher low. So even if we get a little bit more to the downside, that'd line up with the 12 moving average. I would definitely be interested in IBM at hourly oversold. Palantir, another name I'm watching. We are seeing elevated volume here to the downside. That should be telling us more downside to come. We've got this previous resistance here, all-time high resistance that could come in as support. I would be interested in a gap down or a flush down open of Palantir and to test these previous levels. All right. Tesla, did we break? We did break. So I was kind of watching this to see if it was going to be a cup and handle. We did break already with no follow through. So that's a point for the bulls. We're not getting an ideal close, and we need to change the hourly trend back bullish. Okay, so I mean, with after hours, including after hours, this is still a cup and handle pattern. So yeah, I'm still viewing this like a inverse cup and handle. So that's a bearish pattern that we could see another leg down. And that would be bringing us down to the 200 moving average. We got this support here, or we could end up ultimately heading back down to these previous resistance levels that could come in as support. So I'm starting to get interested in Tesla. I will keep trying to play bounces on the way down and keep getting myself into risk-free positions, and that's how I will play Tesla. Anyways, over to RGTI, quantum computing, not looking that good. Continuing, we broke above when failed, that had this inverse head and shoulders, but broke above and failed. Now we're heading back to the lows. We're looking at this gap fill territory now. We're losing the 50 moving average. RGTI and other quantum names are definitely looking weak right now. BABA, elevated volume, big red day, almost a Marubozu candle, leaving this giant gap behind though. I could be interested in if we get a gap down tomorrow down to the 12 moving out daily 12 moving average, I might be interested for a bounce play there. So I got to set a lot of alerts here for different levels for different companies. But yeah, that's quite a significant gap down and hold. This is why BABA is just terrible to play. Terrible to play. It's hard. Nvidia, like the other semiconductors, now we're heading back down. We got support right coming up here, 129.08. We are just looking for a weekly higher low still than the bottom here ultimately, and just looking for a tightening range. Here's the low or the high, the higher low, lower high. Now we're looking for higher low, and we can tighten up here in this range for quite a while on Nvidia. Obviously, earnings is going to have a big factor in that, and who knows how this is going to go. If we see a couple dump days down to earnings, maybe that could be a sign to buy, and we will see. But this could very well send us or decide the direction in the near term for the market, depending on how that goes. Microsoft, well, we broke above and then flushed down below. So that's not a good look. We're losing, basically we're back testing the 200 moving average and failing and dropping down. Yeah, we did close back above this support line, so that's an okay sign for the bulls, but we need to start changing hourly trends. Something has to change. At this time, we got a lot of overhead resistance building up on Microsoft, and it's going to make it more difficult to see an all-time high run. So this is not ideal price action. We don't want to get more confirmation below this level, and we could be heading for a 400 flush. Oh, we did 399. Oh, we did flush 400 on this. We flushed 400 and bounced. Gotcha. So I'm losing interest in Microsoft. It's just steady daily downtrend. When we do bottom out, we're just looking for a daily lower high, the 419.31, and we got lots of room to set that daily lower high. Not an ideal setup. Apple's holding up strong. It's could be money is leaving the small cap names and going to more safe havens, and that could be what's holding up Apple at this time. But we did break out of this equilibrium bull, and now we have a double top, a tweezer top. So we need to break this, otherwise this double top can be very much resistance for the bears to hang their hat off and push us down. Google's, yeah, just continuing. Google is weak in the gap fill territory now. We'll easily be able to close this gap. Elevated bear volume. So Google doesn't look good. We are approaching daily oversold here, so that could be a buying opportunity. But we'll see. Go over coin, see how coin's doing. Oh yeah. So now we're still looking for the monthly higher low. We got a weekly trend change. Now we're looking towards these higher lows now. Now we're looking towards we're looking for a monthly higher low than 146.12. So that's a lot of room for the bulls to play here, but yeah, not ideal. We do have this kind of cup and handle here on the 3 month, so that is a thing. We could just be looking for a 3 month inverse head and shoulders. And that is bigger picture. But yeah, we're approaching daily oversold here, which statistically has been a good buying opportunity. I mean, daily oversold is generally a good buying opportunity in most things that are profitable. They're already making earnings. They're good companies, proven. But yeah, a little bit more caution to those names that are speculative companies. I would put my money into the Magnificent Seven before I would be buying random RGTI and stuff like that. Okay, well, that's kind of what I'm looking at for tomorrow. This is a recap, yeah, for Monday. This is for tomorrow we're looking at now, for Tuesday. And we'll see if we can get oversold bounces tomorrow on the 4 hour. We are pretty extended on a lot of names, and we will be watching those bounces. Okay, I will see you for the actually, I don't think I'm not going to be doing pre-market videos the next 2 days. I'll just be doing post-market recaps, and I'm changing the time to around 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. And that's kind of what I'll be looking at for this week. All right, see you tomorrow.